Oh,
Not that. And we are on the air. This is Weird Talk Radio with Jonathan Emmett and Lorelei Hewitt. I can see her now.
hi, Jonathan.
Wondering
Off
if it's
because I
the.
think,
I'm
yeah,
turning mine off too. There we go.
yeah, I think that'll allow
We were we
better
were trying
line.
to do video between the two of us so that we could actually cue each other if we had questions, but that doesn't seem to be working out too well. So I guess we'll just try it without. Can you? Is it
Well,
better now?
yeah, actually, I can hear it better now. And, we can always turn the video on if one or the other of us needs to say, hey, wait, stop talking. I want to say something.
Be like,
So,
Lorelei, stop talking. All right, my son just messaged me and said we sound good. So
great.
um,
So let's go forward.
let's go ahead.
Well, first, I'd like to explain the name of our show. Wyrd, it's pronounced kind of like a combination of weird and word. When you give someone your word, it is more than a promise. It is law. It is as if, bam, it is done. And I think it's a beautiful word to use during this day and age when we're so enthralled with creating a new reality for ourselves individually and for the world. We need to bring back our word, and believe in it and use it. And that is one of the things we'll be doing with this show.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I think there's a lot that can be said to that fact, especially now that this day and age of cell phones. Um, I mean, people have lost their connection to each other in a big way, and a lot of it has to do with technology, which is funny because we're using technology to do this show. But um, so and my son doesn't have a cell phone. He actually doesn't even want one, and I was really surprised on how much of a difference that's made in his life. Um, from before when all he did was play on his phone or play video games or whatever. And I'm putting this out there because he's listening right now, and I want him to know that I'm talking about him on the radio. But um,
That's so funny. Well, it, I I look at it, Jonathan, that yes, we're losing our connections with people in some ways, but we're gaining a different kind of connection with a broader number of people in other ways. I mean, look at what you and I are doing. It's just for the record, Jonathan and I have never met in person. Jonathan lives halfway across the country in Missouri in the Ozarks, and I'm all the way up in Redmond, Washington, near Seattle. But we've been friends through the internet on Facebook, and we've both done a lot of radio shows in the past, and we decided to collaborate today and hopefully going forward in the future for quite a while because I love doing radio and I really love what you have to say, Jonathan. So together, I think it's going to be a great show. So, saying that, technology does create connections. They're just different.
I agree. I agree. The only thing that I'm saying is that a lot of people have lost the connection to spirit, to
Ah,
nature, and
yeah.
I think that technology has been a part of that. Um, although in a lot of aspects, you're right. I mean, I have friends all over the world, people that I talk to on a regular basis. In fact, I was just texting with a friend of mine in Hawaii just before the show, and those are the types of things that I think that technology helps with. It's back in the day when chatting first started happening, my dad would say something. Well, I don't understand this whole chatting, and I say, Dad, it's kind of like pen pals, only instantaneous gratification. We can talk back and forth without writing a letter. I hate writing letters. I'm not a big letter writer. I don't like talking on the phone, as Lorelai knows also. But I think it gives us the ability to connect across oceans and across the planet, and collaborate on different things with people from different parts of the world, or even just part of our own country.
Yes, yeah, I totally agree with that. And I do have to say, Jonathan, that I do agree with you, especially in regards to texting, and that it is a less of a connection that you have with someone. There is less of an energetic exchange through texting than there is through a live conversation. And for that, I tend to like that, especially when I'm making appointments with clients or dealing with relatives that I like to touch base with, but I don't necessarily want a long, energetic exchange with. So in that regard, you're right. It is a different kind of connection, isn't it? We're changing so much in the way we communicate with the world that it's allowing us a lighter touch, but a broader touch. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that. I think, and I think that the more people become more sensitive to their spiritual selves, to their higher consciousness, to their higher souls, whatever you want to call it, I think that communication is harder for people that don't have a background in spirituality, because they do get those energy connections that from talking on the phone or from in-person conversation that you don't get from texting or from Facebook chat. And I just like it because I can think about what I'm going to say without having to. It's kind of like doing this radio. You're asking me a question, I have to have an answer, right? Well, with chatting, like on Facebook or on on texting, I can think about my answer a little more in depthly, instead of off the cuff, answering the question right here on the phone.
Although I've chatted with you online quite a bit, and I've observed that you do go off the cuff.
Yeah, I have this thing where I get off, my brain just kind of, I don't know, it makes weird connections, and I start rattling off about like texting. So totally not show related, but by God, we're going to talk about it because it came to my brain.
Yeah, no, it is show related though, and that is something that I think is really wonderful to talk about, Jonathan, because when we have conversations with each other, and I'm not just speaking about you and I, but when people out there, when you have a communication with someone and you get in your mind topics that you really want to discuss and jump in with, and we're taught to stay in the flow, to stay on topic, and don't be ADD about where you're going out with your conversations or where you're going out with your attention. But at the same time, our minds are speeding up. Our brains are going so fast. And those digressions in communication and in thought, they're relevant. They may not be earth-shatteringly important, but they are relevant. And what we're talking about here now, this type of communication that we're discussing, texting, it is relevant because what we're doing is we're talking about our word, and our word is changing as humanity evolves. It's changing.
I only agreed with the term word because I like word.
I like it too.
I mean, it's a fun word. I mean, word is word, right? It's word.
Yeah.
And
It is a fun
I
word,
like to
and
say weird.
it's a weird word. So we could say weird is a weird word.
Weird is a weird word. That's like,
Yeah,
yeah, wow. That's a tongue twist.
it is. It is. But
That's
but
funny. Anyway,
now this is another thing that through the weeks I would like to discuss a little bit more, and something that you and I have discussed, and that is the runes. And runes are an ancient Nordic type of script that it has an energetic representation for each one of the symbols as well as a sound. And it works with the idea that each sound has an energy to it. And that is very thought provoking when you begin to look at how different names make you feel and how the subtleties between the phonetics of weird, word, and weird are have a different meaning and a different energy behind them.
right. And I've been sorry. I'm talking to people online too here. People asking me questions. Um, I've been studying runes and I'm incorporating them into my own herbal work.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it interesting how similar some. I even found what was really a bad part of a bad symbol for the Third Reich in some runes that I was looking at, and I'd forgotten that Hitler had actually stolen half of the crap that he had. But and I was asking and it even had a similar sound to it, and I can't think of the rune right off the top of my head, but
Yeah, well, that symbol is seen in a lot of other places all throughout the world. Um,
right.
in Yeah, in Tibetan art, you'll see it quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, you see a lot of that stuff in especially the Tibetan stuff. I have a Buddha on my arm that actually has a what looks like a swastika in it. It's not what it is. It's but it could be
What does the
mistaken.
symbol mean in Tibetan Buddhism? Do you know?
I forget something probably around peace or something like that. Um, it's been 100 years since I studied Buddhism, but
Well, um, the swastika. We can definitely we have the internet at our fingertips, so we can look that up and let people know when we come
Tibetan
up with the googling of it.
swastika.
But it is going to be a fun thing to discuss going forward. The sounds and the energy behind sound, the symbols that we see throughout the world, as well as in our own lives. Because, like you said, Jonathan, earlier, when we get in touch with our own soul, I like the word essence, so you'll hear
Oh, I just
popping up everywhere. You'll see signs, you'll see omens, you'll hear the words come out of people's mouths that seem like they would be complete non sequiturs to the people that are discussing, whatever it is they're discussing with you, but they have some profound meaning in a problem that you may have been banging your head against. It is as if the world is channeling itself to you through nature and through other people. And it's really exciting when you begin to walk through the world that way and begin to see it. And it's very powerful.
It is very powerful, but it's also very difficult for some people, like me included. I mean, once you start becoming more, um, for lack of a better word, enlightened, you tend to not want to put up with the typical mundane stuff of everyday life. Are you still with me? I think I lost. I lost Lorelei. Hold on. I'm calling. She's calling me back.
Oh, good. It dropped. Shoot. Okay.
Yeah, you cut out on me a couple of times.
I did. Oh, well.
Yeah, it's the internet. What do you want? But anyway,
Yeah.
so
Well,